Welcome to Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium as the fans make their way in for a three-game weekend series. It's game one between the Red Sox and the Kansas City Royals. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, as always joined by Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Tall task tonight for the Red Sox. They begin this series against the defending American League champion Kansas City Royals, and tonight it's Eduardo Rodriguez.
That's all Red Sox fans have been talking about for the last 3 weeks is the work of Eduardo Rodriguez, and he really has been outstanding in 3 of the 4 starts and using 3 different pitches. There's a changeup for a strikeout. He'll throw that slider down and in to right-handers, and of course the fastball will reach about 94, 95 miles an hour. Had a rough outing last time out, though, giving up 9 earned runs, and that's the reason you see the higher ERA right now at 3.55. But on the road so far this season, 13 2/3 innings, no runs allowed. Now, facing this Kansas City club, they're a very, very aggressive ball club. They don't walk very much, and they don't strike out. They swing early in counts. He's going to be very careful about that. He's got his work cut out for him tonight against a very good offense.
Yeah, good test for Rodriguez, good test for the Red Sox. 5th start of his Major League career for Eduardo Rodriguez. We're back with more right after this. A3 today. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Toyota's website for deals via Toyota.com. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of your Boston Red Sox. Nissan gets a Nissan's ride of your life for exciting performance and bonus cash. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at Southwest.com. It is game one of a 3-game series between the Royals and the Red Sox. We welcome you back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Dustin Pedroia out of the lineup again tonight. You look back over the course of Dustin's career, he has played with a lot of injuries, including injuries on opening day, back-to-back seasons, but he has played the rest of that year, so he must be hurting. It's now 3 of the last 4 games that he has been out of the lineup. With more on Pedroia's situation, we send it down to field level at Garen Austin.
Thanks, Don. Dustin Pedroia is out of the lineup again, but good news from manager John Farrell, who said he had a good day and did not experience any soreness.
He had a good day today. Came in, felt improved over a day ago. He's been able to hit in the cage today, which, he didn't experience any kind of soreness. So pretty much a day of testing, and would anticipate him back in the lineup tomorrow.
Fans are rolling in, getting ready for tonight's game. We'll be right back after these messages.
driven by Plain Ridge Park Casino, coming June 24th. Plain Ridge Park Casino, the closest casino to Boston. The Fountains of Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. They're expecting another big sellout crowd here in Kansas City. I'd imagine baseball booming here now in Kansas City after an incredible run last year. And, of course, the American League Championship last year. As we take a look at the American League East standings heading into tonight's game, Red Sox find themselves 9 games back of the Tampa Bay Rays, who are currently atop the American League East. They have 2 more wins than the Yankees. And this Kansas City Royals team coming into this series with a 3.5 game lead over the surprising Minnesota Twins, who are 3.5 games back, and the Tigers, who are 5.5 games back. And Kansas City coming in having won their last 4 games, 8 of their last 10. Play great baseball at home, where they are 21-11, 10 games over 500 here at Kauffman Stadium. So pretty good test here for the Red Sox against a very good team, and certainly it'll be a great test tonight for Eduardo Rodriguez coming into this ball game tonight, as the Royals are ready to go here as part of their home schedule, and Eduardo Rodriguez getting ready for his 5th major league start. And Jerry faced a pretty good lineup last time out in the Toronto Blue Jays, who got to him a little bit.
He did, and it's going to be a test for him tonight, obviously, against a very good Kansas City offense. And how do you bounce back from a bad performance? We'll see tonight what Rodriguez got, but he didn't seem fazed at all by what happened last time out.
Well, as the Royals take the field, let's check out the Red Sox starting lineup. It's brought to you by your Eastern Hyundai dealers. Brock Holt leading it off at second base with Mookie Betts in center field. David Ortiz, the DH, with Hanley Ramirez in left field. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop with Pablo Sandoval at third base batting 6th. Mike Napoli over at first base with Alejandro De Aza in right field batting 8th against Pino. He's 5 for 7 in his career. Blake SWIHART does the catching, and he bats 9th. Royals starting pitcher presented by your New England Nissan dealers. Johan Pino getting the start tonight for the Royals. His first start of the year, as it marks his 7th overall appearance, as Ventura going on the DL. They add him into the rotation. His record 0-1 with a 0.64 ERA. 13 strikeouts, only 2 walks. And opponents hitting at .212. And again, all of that was out of the pen for Pino.
The Royals defense is brought to you by DraftKings, and they are 7th in the league with 34 errors in 63 games. Mike MOUSTAKAS will be at third base. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop. Omar Infante at second, and Eric Hosmer, the first baseman. Left to right, Alex Gordon, Lorenzo Cain, and Alex Rios, and Salvador Perez doing the catching for the Royals.
Tonight's umpires are brought to you by Buick. Experience the new Buick lineup during this year's Sign and Drive. See your local Buick dealer today. Tom Hallion, the crew chief, has it played with Bruce Streckman at first base, Alfonso Marquez at second base, and Dan Bellino is the umpire at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas noches, amigos.
Beautiful conditions tonight in Kansas City. 82 degrees. Breeze in from center at 7 miles per hour. And the forecast is clear. In fact, there's not a cloud in the sky. Lots of blue sky above on this Friday night. Red Sox in their alternate blue jerseys. And Brock Holt ready to lead it off here for Boston in the first inning. Pino ready, and the first pitch of the ball game is in there for strike 1, and we're underway.
You can see not that overpowering right there with the fastball at 87 miles an hour to start off with.
Holt will pop it up right side. Back goes Hosmer, and will make the catch in front of Infante for the first out of the ball game. Well, for Pino, the arsenal, 62% of the time fastballs, 36% breaking balls, and just 2% changeups. One out here in the first inning brings up Mookie Betts. Red Sox center fielder at .257, 6 homers and 29 runs batted in. It's a 1-year anniversary of Pino's major league debut. No decision in a 4-2 win for the White Sox. He was a member of the Minnesota Twins.
One guy in the Red Sox lineup has faced him so far in his career, and that is De Aza, who was 5 for 7 against him.
There's a check swing grounder right side. Infante Range's got to hurry, and it's not going to get there in time. Yes, it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought Mookie Betts beat that, but it doesn't look like he's going to argue it or question the call. Infante going a long way to his left. He makes that toss to first base, and apparently just getting Mookie Betts.
Yeah, John Farrell's not going to challenge it, so apparently he did beat him.
I thought Mookie Betts beat that.
Well, they are going to check, so he is going to challenge this. So we'll see. I thought at first, no, they're not. Now he comes back. Hallion started walking towards that spot down the third baseline, but now he's headed over to. He's on the wrong side. Headsets are on this side, so they are going to challenge it.
I'll take one more look at it. It looks to me like Mookie Betts did beat this at first base. You see where the ball is. It's not in the glove. Watch the foot. On the bag and then the ball in the glove. So I think that this might get overturned. Of course, I've been wrong many times this season.
Seeing it here at the stadium on the big scoreboard, and big it is here in Kansas City.
It's a great ballpark, isn't it, Don?
Yes, it is.
It's been around a long time. It's been through renovations and just a beautiful place to watch a baseball game.
Great to see the crowds back out here again in full force.
It's incredible. They have really turned this thing around to the way it was back in the late 70s when they had those great Kansas City Royal clubs. They draw from all over the place. They love their baseball.
Well, the umpire is taking a good long look at this. And the play at first base, we both think Mookie Betts beats this out.
I think his foot hits the bag before the ball is in the glove. Right there.
All made by Bruce Streckman, first base umpire. Call on the field was out. It's amazing how many of these Red Sox challenges have taken place in the first inning for John Farrell.
A lot of action in the first inning for the Red Sox, that's for sure.
Unfortunately for John, if it doesn't get overturned here, he's lost his challenge in the first inning again, which has happened recently in Atlanta.
But you can't wait, right? I mean, you got to make a challenge on a play like that. I mean, you got a chance to jump out in front early in the ball game. I mean, it's pretty clear, it was anyway, that Betts was safe. Foot on the bag. Foot on the bag. Ball not yet in the glove. That's pretty clear. I don't know what's taking so long.
And he is safe, so the Red Sox win the challenge. It is overturned. So base hit for Mookie Betts in the infield. 7-game hitting streak as a result of that base hit now for Betts at .522. 1 out, 1 on, and David Ortiz the batter. David at .231, 9 homers and 29 runs batted in. For the first and back to the bag is Betts, held on by Hosmer.
Not the complete shift put on for David Ortiz.
Another check and back to the bag is Betts.
And neither one of those moves have been very good either. So Betts knows that he can get himself a decent sized lead. Maybe he hasn't seen his best move yet, but the first two are not good.
Ortiz grounds it to first. Hosmer will go to second for 1. Back to first, and that is in time. Double play. So the Royals turn the twin killing to end the top of the first. Kansas City coming up. score in the top of the first inning. Royals coming up in the bottom of the first. Let's check out the Red Sox starting pitcher, presented by your local New England Audi dealers. First pitch from Eduardo Rodriguez into Alcides Escobar. Rodriguez's fifth start, 2-1 with a 3.55 earned run average, 25 1/3. Strike in there to Escobar. Took the loss against a good Blue Jays lineup, lasting just 4 2/3, 8 hits, 9 runs, all earned. Swinging a foul off of SWIHART, back to the screen.
And we talked a little bit about this offense for the Kansas City Royals. They are first in the league in average, seventh in runs scored, fourth in hits. They don't walk. They're last in the league in walks, and they're toughest team to strike out. Very aggressive.
Fouled off to the right, out of play. Come in with a 38-25 record. Ed Yost done a terrific job here at the Kansas City Royals. In fact, the winningest skipper now in franchise history. Got his 411th win last night, a 3-2 win. Past Royals Hall of Famer Whitey Herzog would won 410. There is strike 3. Escobar strikes out. First out here in the bottom of the first inning. First K for Rodriguez.
It looks like the slider that he goes to pick up the first strikeout.
Check out the Royals lineup. It's brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Alcides Escobar at shortstop. Mike MOUSTAKAS at third base with Lorenzo Cain in center. Eric Hosmer at first base. Kendrys Morales is the DH. Alex Gordon in left field with Salvador Perez doing the catching. Alex Rios in right and Omar Infante at second base. Here is Mike MOUSTAKAS. 323 average. 6 homers, 24 runs batted in. Stock is fourth in average as this one sent down the left field line and over towards the corner. It is a foul ball.
Take a look at the first strikeout of the night. It is the slider to the outside part of the plate against Escobar. Fastball, slider, changeup from Rodriguez.
MOUSTAKAS and that 323 average, good for fourth in the American League in average. Prince Fielder setting the pace in the AL. Fielder hitting at 344 to start the night, but a very good beginning of the year for MOUSTAKAS. He will pop it up left side of the infield. From short comes Bogarts. And Xander onto the grass to handle out number 2.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. They are 9th in the American League, 41 errors on the season. Sandoval, Bogarts, Holt, and Napoli in the infield. Ramirez, Betts, Beazer in the outfield. And Blake Swihart doing the catching for Eduardo Rodriguez.
2 down here in the first inning brings up Lorenzo Cain. Cain at 292 coming in, the center fielder, and hitting third now in this order. 6 homers, 30 runs batted in to go along with that 292 average. Lines it down the left field line, foul.
Right now, Cain on a 9-game hitting streak.
He's batting here with 2 outs. When he bats with 2 outs, he hits at 370 on the year. And he'll line out to first base. Mike Napoli positioned perfectly to make the grab. Down in order of the Royals, no score after 1. Scoreless as we head to inning number 2 back in Kansas City, and it's Hanley Ramirez who leads it off and takes strike 1. There's Bogaerts and Sandoval to bat here in the inning against Johan Pino. To left field, Alex Gordon will make the catch. Well hit, but Gordon positioned perfectly and out there in the last rays of sunshine out there in left field.
Yeah, he's the only guy there that was straight up. The rest of the outfield was shaded to the opposite field, but Gordon straight up in right and left field and is able to make the play on that line drive.
Time for tonight's Twisted But True fact. Last night, Ned Yost became the winningest manager in Royals history with his 411th career win at the helm of the Royals. Twisted Tea is the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. Mentioned last inning, Whitey Herzog formerly had that record, 410 wins. Xander Bogaerts hitting at .287, 3 homers, 27 runs batted in. Quickly down, 0-2.
And the same type of defense against Xander Bogaerts as they had against Ramirez. See him shading to right field and straight away in left. Big gap in left center field.
Attacks the plate and fouls it back to the screen. Well, since May 31st, Xander hitting at .343. Leads all qualifying AL shortstops in average. So much has been made about the number of Kansas City Royals who are leading vote getters right now in the All-Star voting. This one fouled back. Jerry, you take a look at the sign behind home plate.
Yeah.
It's tough to miss if you're a fan here in the sellout crowd again tonight.
Vote Royals.
Yeah.
.com.
There it is. Think they're trying to get some votes?
They got plenty of them, that's for sure.
On the ground right side and through into right field. A base hit for Xander Bogaerts. Got down in the count, stayed with it, and has a base hit here with 1 down in the 2nd inning.
And good job by Bogaerts. He gets the breaking ball and is able to stay back on it and shoot it to the opposite field. There's that little slider right there, or curveball, one of the two, and you can see the open gap where Infante can't get to it. Omar Infante is leading at second base in the American League in All-Star votes. Let me just run down a couple of numbers on Infante.
Yeah, they're not good.
228, no homers, been caught stealing 1 time.
I don't think he should be the starting second baseman.
I would agree with you, Don.
Pablo Sandoval hitting at .270, 6 homers, 23 runs batted in. He's had 2 hits in each of his last 5 games. Good series against the Braves, going 6 for 12 against Atlanta. Now has an 8-game hitting streak coming in. In the air to center field. Lorenzo Cain going back. It's carrying well, and it's going to be over his head. One hops the wall as Xander Bogaerts going to be stopped at third. Into second with a double goes Pablo Sandoval, and it's second and third with 1 out.
9-game hitting streak now for Sandoval, and that ball well over the head of Lorenzo Cain in center field. That pitch down and away, as you can see, and that's a ball that Pablo has been hitting very well recently. Now, if he can stay out of the clubhouse and not put it on Instagram after, we'll be all set. We'll be able to stay in the lineup for the Red Sox. See Bogaerts hanging out at second base right there and continues on the third, but held up there by Butterfield.
Second and third, 1 out. Mike Napoli coming up. Chance for the Red Sox to do some early damage. Napoli at .204, 10 homers, 27 runs batted in. Napoli will take strike 1.
They look out towards center field where Kane is playing, and he plays about as shallow as you're going to see a center fielder in the American League. And that's one of the reasons Sandoval was able to get the ball up over his head.
Good distance out there to center field. 410 to straightaway center. Napoli 3 for 11 in the series against the Braves. That's here with Bogaerts at third, Sandoval at second, 1 out. On the ground, up the middle, into center field, a base hit. Bogaerts will score. Sandoval being waved around. Throw goes to second, and the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead. A 2-run single for Mike Napoli. Boston on top 2-0.
Now Napoli with the ground ball back up the middle. They try to work him inside, and that's a pitch that he can certainly handle. He hasn't seen many of those. Gets the ground ball to go to center field, and even though Kane is playing shallow out there, Sandoval is still able to score. You see him almost stop like he was expected to be stopped at third base, but then Butterfield waves him on. He scores with no problem standing up.
One down, Napoli at first base. Good start for the Red Sox. Here is Alejandro De Aza, who takes strike one. 226, 3 homers, 12 runs batted in for De Aza. Multi-hit games in each of his last 2 starts for the Red Sox, and 4 for 9 in that series against the Braves.
And he's made a nice little impact on the Red Sox since joining the ball club.
4 starts in right, 2 in left. And as you mentioned earlier, the only guy who's got some history against Pino, and it's good history. After Ramirez lined out to left, it's 3 straight hits for the Red Sox. Bogaerts with a single to right, Sandoval a double to center. Napoli with a 2-run single. Now a liner foul out of play. A little bit low, 2-2. Aza coming over from the Baltimore Orioles in exchange for minor league pitcher Joe Gunkel. Back on the 3rd of June. Able to hold up on a pitch in the dirt. Full count.
I'll see if they said Napoli now on the 3-2 count, banking on contact from De Aza.
Ball 4, and down to first base goes De Aza. First walk given up by Pino of his outing. On to second goes Napoli on the walk. Well, here's tonight's Dunkin' Donuts poll question. Should Major League Baseball change the All-Star Game voting process? Text 1 for yes, text 2 for no. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. 1 message per vote. Visit NESN.com/terms for terms and conditions and privacy policy. I would have to say yes. And it was a topic that we brought up with the commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfred, when we had him on last week.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Don. I think it does need some tweaking. I don't know exactly which way to go with it. They've tried many different things, but to have it the way it is right now, I just don't think is right.
Fly ball to right field off the bat of SWIHART. Back goes Rios. It's over his head and will one-hop the wall. Scoring from second is Napoli. Diaz is going to try and score. He will. And the Red Sox get 2 more and take a 4-0 lead. Blake SWIHART driving in a pair with a double.
Well, so far, we're seeing the back of the uniforms of a number of these outfielders for the Kansas City Royals. SWIHART gets the fastball 87 right down the middle of the plate and takes it up over the head of Alex Rios. You can see that he's playing shallow in the outfield and has to play it one hop off the wall. Meanwhile, 2 runs come across. Napoli, Diaz, 4-0 lead.
Still only 1 out in the inning, and now Brock Holt. Brock popped out to the first baseman Eric Hosmer in the first inning, 0 for 1. Up the middle to the backhand goes Infante. His throw is off the mark, but the tag applied by Hosmer on the way by. And they get Holt as SWIHART takes third base.
Hosmer, a very good first baseman, and makes a very nice play there. That throw off target by Infante as he's kind of running towards second base, just sidearms it to first base. But Hosmer comes off and is able to apply the tag before Holt gets to the bag.
So 2 down in the inning, and here is Mookie Betts. Got on an infield hit. Originally was called out, but challenge won by the Red Sox after the review. Ball was overturned, and he had a base hit. And for Mookie Betts, now a 7-game hitting streak. There's a strike, 1-1. Juan Pino giving up 4 runs so far here in the second inning. Strike grabbing that outside corner, maybe.
That 2-seam fastball starts outside and tried to swing it back to the corner. Generous strike call right there.
That's so send it into right field for a base hit. From third comes SWIHART, and the Red Sox take a 5-0 lead. So Betts cashes in, picks up his 30th RBI of the year, and it is a 5-run second inning so far for Boston.
Well, the Red Sox have had a nice approach, especially with 2 outs and 2 strikes, and Betts right here with 2 strikes going to the opposite field. I mean, that's a pretty swing right there. Look at the head right on the baseball. Good solid contact and drives in that man from third base.
That's it first with 2 down, and David Ortiz grounded into a 3-6-3 double play in the first inning. Fouls this one off, got a piece of Salvador Perez. On the ground, picked in the backhand by Hosmer, who takes it to the bag to end the inning. But the Red Sox, with a great inning in the second, take a 5-0 lead. The Napoli 2-run single. 1-2-3 first inning for Eduardo Rodriguez. He now has a 5-0 advantage. Eric Hosmer leading it off and grounding one foul off himself outside of first base. Hosmer at 297 coming in, batting in the cleanup spot. 7 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Opposite field and a base hit for Hosmer. First base runner of the night for Kansas City. Now, June 28th, the Red Sox, the Highland Street Foundation in the city of Boston are hosting a free Red Sox watch party for kids and families on the Boston Common. Watch the game on the big screen. Try your hand at the Steel Home Challenge and grab some food. It's all free. I feel like I'm at a Red Sox watch party tonight with the monitor that my partner has in the booth here. It's like having a drive-in movie theater inside the booth. I don't know why you need a monitor that is so big, but you got it, man.
It's out. Look at this. It's outstanding, Don. It's one of it's the largest monitor I've ever had doing the baseball game, and I guess it's the only one that you get that had the get HD.
I have this little thing over here. And he has this enormous thing over there that is like a display screen of epic proportions. What is that?
Very, very large.
60 inches? What is that?
I don't know. No, it's not 60, no. If they had a 60, I'd take it.
I would take it. They actually asked me, they said, do you think if we go bigger, is it going to be a problem? And I said, you couldn't find anything big enough down there. I mean, unbelievable. But it's great, though. I mean, I'm tempted to look at your monitor over there. It's still better than the one I have to my left.
You can watch
mine. It's so big. 2-0 pitch is out to center field. Betts got kind of a late break, but he will get back there in plenty of time to make the catch into the sunshine. And Hosmer back to the bag at first, 1 down. Send it down to Guerin.
Hey, thanks, Don. You know, there was a lot of excitement down on the field earlier today with a celebrity softball game. It is the Big Slick Celebrity Weekend here in Kansas City, and it's a huge fundraiser for Children's Mercy Hospital. Now, the game kicked off. There'll be a ton of events throughout the weekend, and the field was packed with celebrities like Eric Sohnstreet, Paul Rudd, to name a few, and Johnny Knoxville. And Don, you got your picture with Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I bumped into Selena. Jerry, we haven't done a film yet together. I happened to bump into her on the field. We chatted for a little while and then took a selfie. So had a good time.
Can we see that picture one more time?
Oh, boy.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, well, it's a great shot of Selena. Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
You should have been behind her, I think.
Yes, I think so, too. It was bad positioning on my part. There's a lot of head.
Actually, I was not impressed by the celebrity game. I did watch it.
Bored with it?
And, it did not impress me at all. You were very impressed.
They're better athletes than I thought. Some of them.
You got to be kidding me.
Did you see Norm from Cheers?
Yes,
George
he was
down there.
He was an umpire, wasn't he?
I thought he played. No,
I think he sat in a chair behind home plate.
Alex Gordon will take a strike. Didn't like the call and spins out of the box. Gordon checking in at 271. 8 homers, 31 runs batted in. And he gets hit with a pitch. So down to first base with 1 out goes Gordon.
That's a changeup that time from Rodriguez that gets Gordon right off the bottom part of the leg. They kind of a mistake on Hosmer. He had him down, the leadoff hitter in this inning. No balls and 2 strikes, and gave him a pretty good pitch to hit. Gets the out, now hits another left-hander. So a couple of people he should have the advantage against are both on base against him here in the bottom of the second.
2 on, 1 out. Salvador Perez, the batter. He will take strike 1. Jeremy noticed after the first 2 outings that it appeared that Eduardo Rodriguez's secondary pitches were not as good as the first 2.
Not quite as sharp. Yeah, the first couple he had that very good slider working down and in against right-handers, threw a lot of change-ups. It was not the case the last time out. Fastball still at 96, but that time low and out of the strike zone.
On the ground right side, Brock Holt will try to start it to second for one, on to first for two. Double play ends the second inning through two. Red Sox have a 5-0 lead. Season-long Geico will highlight the 1975 Red Sox in honor of their 40th anniversary. In their 69th game of that 75 season, the Red Sox lost to the Yankees 8-6. Carl Yastrzemski homered twice and drove in 4 runs for the Red Sox, but in a losing cause. 5-0, Red Sox on top. Hanley Ramirez leading it off here in the top of the third inning. Did not agree with the strike call.
Whatever he had to say made Tom Hallion laugh behind the plate, the umpire behind the plate.
That's a fly ball out to center field. Kane into the sunshine out there. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Thursday at 6, tune in to Bruins Face-Off Summer Edition. Billy Jaffe and Barry Peterson will recap the 2015 NHL Awards, and they'll preview the upcoming NHL Draft. Bruins Face-Off Summer Edition is brought to you by New England Nissan dealers. On out in the third inning for Xander Bogaerts. Xander singled to right field and got the entire thing started in the second inning. Red Sox go on to get 5 hits and 5 runs in the second. Charlie Davis has got to like the way this game has started tonight. High ball lifted out to right center field. Lorenzo Cain calling and catching out number 2 of the inning. Get immediate care without leaving the ballpark at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center First Aid Station, located behind Section 12 in the lower concourse. BIDMC is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. 2 fly ball outs to center field to begin things here in the third inning, and brings up Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval with a double in the second inning. Now has a 9-game hitting streak, hitting at .469 during the last 9 games. He will pop it up foul off to the left out of play. The Boston-based daily fantasy company DraftKings.com is giving out $300 million in cash prizes. Enter promo code NESSON to play for free. One almost hit him as he fouled it off.
It's amazing some of the pitches he can make contact on. You know, they went high upstairs with the fastball, and then they try to go low and in with the breaking ball, and somehow Sandoval is able to foul this pitch off. It probably would have hit his leg had he not made contact. Again. I mean, these two pitches not even close to being strikes, and he's able to foul them off.
I mean, he's pretty much swing mode all the time. I mean, I don't think he goes up there thinking,
no,
maybe I'll take a pitch or two. On the ground right side and into right field, a base hit. Sandoval 2 for 2.
You got to give him a lot of credit with that at bat there. I mean, they went up high with a fastball, down low with two breaking balls that he fouls off, and then back up high with the fastball, and he gets on top of it to hit the base hit. I mean, that's a pretty good at bat right there by Pablo Sandoval on pitches that are not strikes.
So 2 down, Sandoval at first base. Mike Napoli, the batter. Mike with a single and 2 RBIs, his first time up. RBIs 28-29 on the year for the Red Sox first baseman. Laps it foul outside at third, and it's a ball and a strike to Napoli. Popped up into shallow left center field. Lorenzo Cain will handle all 3 outs of this inning. We have played 2.5 with the Red Sox on top 5-0. Last of the third inning back at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Alex Rios leading it off here for the Royals and taking strike 1. Rios hitting at 220 coming in on the home run. 9 runs batted in.
Rios spending a little time on a disabled list earlier this season, back in the regular rotation for the Royals.
Career 300 hitter against Boston. Facing them quite a bit, of course, when he was with the Toronto Blue Jays. Also the Chicago White Sox along the way. Thirty pitches now for Eduardo Rodriguez at 1-2. Rios thought about it, lets it go, and it is 2-2. Well, tomorrow, Dining Playbook, catch a special cooking episode. Learn how to make great dishes from well-known and aspiring local chefs. See Billy and Jenny in the kitchen tomorrow morning at 9. Strike 3 call. Second strikeout for Rodriguez. And Rios didn't like the call at all. He's out number 1 of the inning.
And second time that he's going backdoor on the breaking ball that time. The slide it to the outside part of the plate. That's exactly how he got Escobar back in the first inning to lead off the game. Now he does it to Rios. Again, a borderline call, but going in Rodriguez's favor. Rios doesn't like it. He thinks that pitch is outside.
Gotta love the strike 3 call from Tom Hallion. Not if you're a hitter, though. I imagine it would not be as much fun as it is for us.
Not only does he give you all the action, he really yells it out loud.
Loud, and he twists. And look at this. I mean, he can hurt himself doing this. And throwing his back.
He's got that down pat, doesn't he?
Does it really well.
You would think a guy that does that would have a problem with obliques.
Absolutely. Or good obliques.
Yeah.
Maybe they're so strong now that he's built them up. Swing and a miss. Rodriguez. Back-to-back strikeouts gets Rios and Infante.
Well, 2 off-speed pitches for strikeouts in this inning. The slider to Rios, the changeup to Omar Infante. That ball dipping down and out of the strike zone, but Infante can't stay off it. 34th time he struck out this year. Only has 3 walks.
2 down here in the 3rd inning. Alcides Escobar, a strikeout victim in the 1st inning. One in, 1 out, and it's 2-0. Back in again for ball 3. Rodriguez has not walked anybody. 3 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings. So far tonight's pitch arsenal. There is the first walk given up by Rodriguez. Comes with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Ace Ticket, the official Red Sox ticket partner, has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway, all with a 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games, including the Yankees. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Escobar at first base. Mike MOUSTAKAS 0 for 1 in the game as he grounded out to the shortstop. Xander Bogaerts in the 1st inning. And 4th in the league in average coming into tonight's game. For MOUSTAKAS really started right out of the gate, hitting at .356 in the month of April.
A young player that struggled for a long time at the major league level, then figured it out. Since he's figured it out, he has been a very, very good player.
Remember times last year he was hitting 7th, 8th in the order.
Yep.
Fouled off to the left. I know you did not come here last year, but last year when the Red Sox were here, they took 3 out of 4 from the Kansas City Royals late in the season. And the Red Sox obviously did not have a very good season, finishing last. And you're thinking to yourself at that time, Just can't see the Royals. Are they going to do anything? I mean,
Yeah, I remember you coming back and telling me that, and they didn't look that impressive at all against the Red Sox, and they did a few things after that.
They did some stuff. 2-1 pitch. And a swing there. He did go around. 2-2. Frustrated, takes a stroll.
And ball well out of the strike zone, but MOUSTAKAS with that weight shift that he has did not hold up the bat.
Throw to first. Napoli was not on the bag, kind of standing in front of it. Back easily is Escobar. How about a 7 in stolen base attempts? Royals right now down 5-0. Rodriguez wanted it, but it was outside. 3-2.
And a pretty good job by MOUSTAKAS not chasing that with 2 strikes on him. Fastball down and away, and a lot of times you see lefty against lefty chase that pitch.
Fly ball out to right center field. Mookie Betts heading back into the sunshine to make the catch that ends the inning. Royals leave a runner. We're headed to the 4th. Boston on top 5-0. It feels great, especially when all you have to do to get $100 is open an Eastern free checking account. Learn more at easternbank.com/free checking. 4th inning, 5-0. Red Sox on top of the Royals. Alejandro De Aza leading it off here for Boston in the 4th inning. SWIHART and Brock Holt. Johan Pino back out there again. He had a tough 2nd inning, giving up 5 runs, facing 9 men.
And the longest he's gone in a game this year was 4 2/3. That was against Oakland in his first outing.
In the air to shallow center. Center fielder Lorenzo Cain has been very busy in this game. Handles the first out of the 4th inning. A Sunday and an all-new Charlie Moore. Charlie travels to the cornfields of Iowa to meet up with Iowa University wrestling coach Tom Brands. See what happens when the Mad Fisherman visits Iowa. Sunday night at 7 on Charlie Moore Outdoors. One out for Blake SWIHART. He doubled in the second inning and knocked in 2 runs, 9th and 10th RBIs of the year. Strike called, 1-1. To right field and a base hit for SWIHART, who is 2 for 2 from the number 9 spot in the Red Sox order.
That time got a hanging breaking ball from Pino and just put it on a line very hard into right field. There's the curveball that stays out over the plate, and that's a great pitch to hit right there, and SWIHART does just that. Could be a little hit and run action with Brock Holt at the plate. 1 out in the inning.
0 for 2 in this game. He's popped out to first, grounded out to second base. Sharply hit wide of the bag at first. It came in after a tremendous series against the Atlanta Braves, going 9 for 16 that series against the Braves, and of course that also included hitting for the cycle at Fenway Park in the second game of that series. Throw to first and back easily is SWIHART. Ball and a strike now to Holt. And Butterfield giving the signs to all involved. Blake SWIHART at first, Brock Holt at the plate. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and the throw down is going to be in time to get SWIHART. Hit and run, Jerry, that went awry.
That's exactly what it was. They put the hit and run play on and no contact from Brock Holt. They did not have SWIHART stealing straight out. We expected a play with this combination. That's what they got. They got the hit and run, but no contact, and SWIHART is out at second base. Fastball tailing away from Brock Holt right there, one he would like to have back and take to the opposite field. They going to challenge us?
They do have a challenge left, and it does appear that's exactly what they're going to do. As they won the challenge in the first inning. Tough to tell whether he got the tag on him before he got that foot in.
And did he keep contact with the bag? It looks like he did as he was falling over Escobar, the shortstop.
Ooh, I think he's safe, Jerry. They showed one on the big screen here at center field. It looks like he is safe.
Then he falls off the bag, though.
Yes, he does, but is he pushed off is the question, too.
I wouldn't. Well, he could have been, but he's falling down. He's losing balance. And the tag is still on him, so this will be a very interesting call.
He called him out at that point, and his foot's not off the bag yet. Now it is.
Looks like the glove's lifting his foot off the bag, but he is losing balance, and he's falling over.
But the umpire had already called him out at that point.
He already had called him out at that point.
He called him out on the initial tag that does not appear to have been made. So watch the umpire. Right there, he's calling him out.
Yeah, he does call him out. You're exactly right before anything else happens.
I think he's going to be safe.
Well, if he is, you're 2 for 2 tonight.
They've taken a long time in both cases.
It's a tough call. It really is. You can see, since replay has been put in, why we had so many arguments in the game of baseball over plays just like this. I mean, it's so close and so hard to tell. And even on replay, they are difficult to tell. He's calling him out right there. I mean, he still has contact with the bag, and he looked like he may have beaten it. Well, looks like they're ready to take the headsets off. Let's see. No, not yet. Still conversation.
Okay, so let's say they want to overturn it and say that he's safe on the call. Then he comes off the bag, and then afterwards he gets tagged. Does it matter?
I think it does matter, yeah. It's, the play continues. I mean, it's not a dead ball.
Right. So then now what do you do? And did he push him off himself?
I'm going to say because he lost balance, he's out because the tag was on him. Now, I'm going to be wrong because I'm wrong all the time. But that's just my opinion. That when when they got tangled up and he came off the bag, the tag was still on him. That's maybe what they're looking at right now.
As the out call is made right there, and it looks like I thought he beat it there. See him? Here's the out call. Now he comes off.
Right.
Is he pushed off at that point too? I mean, it looked like he was going to fall.
He was going to fall. He was going to fall right, tumble right over him.
But he sees the out call, and then maybe that's why he comes off. So forget it. I'm out.
I think he just couldn't keep his balance. We're going to agree to disagree on this one.
The problem they have is that the out call they made was wrong. I mean, the first part of it.
We think it's wrong.
We think it's wrong.
We think it's wrong. And I think what they're doing right now is looking at the second part of that play.
Right. What do you do now?
I think you call him out. That's what I think.
He is out. So there you have it. They lose the challenge. And he's going to go over and explain it. It may be, usually they don't give you an explanation, but how he's going to give him one, it may be because of the second part of that.
That's what I think, Don. That's my feeling. And that's exactly what I'm sure Hallian is discussing with John Farrell. It wouldn't be this discussion if they were still on the first call.
Yep. Took 4 minutes and 36 seconds, that review. So 2 down in the inning. Ball and 2 strikes here to Brock Holt. And he grounds it foul off the railing of the Royals dugout. After the call had been made is what John just said there, it appeared. This is dribbled to the right of the mound. The throw, a good accurate throw from Pino. He got a lot on that. Throws out Holt. Red Sox are gone. 3.5 done. 5-0 Red Sox. Just open an Eastern free checking account in the month of June and you'll get $100. Learn more at easternbank.com/free checking. Bottom of the 4th inning. Red Sox have a 5-0 lead, and Lorenzo Cain leading it off. He lined out to Mike Napoli sharply in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. Orioles with 1 hit so far tonight. Eric Hosmer with a single to left field. Rio pitch. And Cain will take the strike, 3-1. .347 against lefties for Lorenzo Cain. It's a 2-hopper down to Sandoval, who throws out Cain for the first out of the 4th inning. For every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 commitment once again this season. CVS Pharmacy, the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. One out here in the 4th inning for Eric Hosmer. Mentioned the only hit so far tonight for Kansas City. He had a single to left to lead off the 2nd inning.
And that came on an 0-2 pitch, too, from Rodriguez.
And there for a strike. Ball and 2 strikes to Hosmer. Second time through now for Eduardo Rodriguez. This thing at 95. They have gone. They check. Yes, he did, says Dan Bellino. They ring him up. There's the 4th strikeout for Rodriguez. 2 down.
Hosmer completely fooled on that. He got a changeup inside. Probably the last thing in the world he was expecting in that at bat. Right there, clearly you can see that he broke his wrist and didn't swing at that inside changeup.
Two down in the 4th inning. Kendrys Morales, the batter, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flat out to center in the 2nd inning. And Morales has been well traveled, breaking in with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Stops in Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle again. Now Kansas City. Takes it the other way into right field for a 2-out base hit for Morales.
And both hits tonight for the Royals coming on the fastball. Hosmer back in the 2nd inning, and now a fastball to Morales going to the opposite field. Wanted to go away with the fastball, but you see it stay inside right out over the plate. Kendrys Morales to the opposite field for the 2-out base hit.
Morales, of course, DHing this Royals team without Billy Butler any longer. Now with the Oakland A's. Alex Gordon, the batter, with 2 outs and a runner at first. Gordon hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. It was erased in a 4-6-3 double play. Now a hot shot picked on a hop by Sandoval. Throw is good and in time and ends the inning. We head to the 5th. Red Sox on top 5-0. 500 fans that purchase a ticket at redsox.com/golf receive a Wally Golf head cover, the perfect addition for your golf bag this summer. There are good-looking head covers, Jerry. 5-0. Red Sox have the lead, and first pitch swing and fouling it back. And below us, not a play.
Yeah, this is quite the gift, and certainly all you golfers out there will certainly enjoy having this.
Tremendous.
Don is a big golfer, and I'm sure you can have mine if you'd like.
It's all right.
My clubs are in a lake somewhere.
Yeah, what's the story with you in golf? I don't golf, by the way.
I took it up a little. Well, I played a little bit when I was young, and then I figured when I retired from baseball, I'd play more. I realized how bad I was. Didn't like it anymore.
Mookie Betts lines it into left field for a base hit. There's 3 hits tonight for Betts. So what did you do with your clubs when you decided you were done?
Well, I took them all. I put them in a big bag, and that golf bag that you have with all the balls are in it and everything's on it. And I took them and I just heaved it in a lake. And that's the last time I played golf. So you can have my
thank you
covers.
Appreciate it very much. We look forward to that. Again, June 23rd, golf night in Fenway Park for his 500 fans in attendance to get these golf covers. As David Ortiz.
The thing I realized about golf is you need incredible patience.
You don't have that. I can tell you that.
And that's
right
not
now.
one of my
strong suits.
No.
Yeah.
No.
David is grounded into a 3-6-3 double play, grounded out to first base. Shift on here in the infield, but they keep it to the dirt of the infield. To first again, Hosmer. This becomes a tag play, and they get it done. Another double play, grounded into by Ortiz. Hosmer this time, since he was close to the bag, elected to tag the bag at first before making the throw to second.
Yeah, he's really smooth down at first base, and he had no doubt what he was going to do on contact right there. It was heading toward the bag. Very simple to tag the bag, avoid the runner at second base. That is the key on this play, to be able to avoid the runner. You see Mookie Betts trying to go directly at the shortstop so he gets hit in the back with the throw. That's what you're supposed to do. Line yourself up with the middle infielder taking the throw. But that time Hosmer gets it by him, and David looks like he is a little bit upset.
Now Ramirez sends one out to center field, sending Lorenzo Cain back onto the track at the wall, and that ball is gone. Into the first row, a home run for Hanley Ramirez, his 14th of the year, and the Red Sox take a 6-0 lead. Just up over the fence in left center, and Cain ran out of room out there.
That's a big part of the ballpark out in that area. And when contact was made, I wasn't quite sure that he had enough of it, but he does. Slide it to the outside part of the plate and able to get the good part of the bat on the ball. And Hanley thinks maybe I got enough. Cain goes back and right into the glove of a fan.
398 feet, the tail of the tape there for Hanley Ramirez. Brandon Finnegan up in the pen now for the Royals. Chop towards third. MOUSTAKAS will go to first, and that will end the inning. But home run for Hanley Ramirez. His 14th gives the Red Sox a 6-0 lead. 6-0. Red Sox on top here in the bottom of the 5th inning back in Kansas City. Salvador Perez. 0 for 1, grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the 2nd inning. Now it's a ground ball to second base. Brock Holtz got it for the first out of the 5th inning. Now, for every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season, Alltown will donate $500 to Boston Children's Hospital. Alltown is New England's premier healthier convenience retailer. Hanley Ramirez with the home run for the Red Sox. Solo shot in the 5th inning. It's 14th of the year. All part of a 6-0 Red Sox lead. There is Alex Rios. Rios struck outs looking in the 3rd inning. 4 strikeouts on the night for Eduardo Rodriguez. Ball and a strike this time for Rios. Infante waiting on deck. Rios spending the last 2 years with Texas. There's one foul in to the Red Sox dugout. Broke into the big leagues with Toronto. First 6 seasons with Toronto. 4.5 years with the White Sox in Chicago. Back-to-back seasons in Texas. Now here in Kansas City. One hopper to short, picked by Bogarts, and plenty of time to get Rios 2 down. Well, join the 2020 Club and enjoy an affordable, fun night at Fenway Park. Groups of 20 or more start at $20 each. Visit redsox.com/groups for more information. Saw a lot of Red Sox fans come into the ballpark here tonight. Only visit of the year for the Red Sox to Kansas City. Omar Infante struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. Now he sends one out towards left center field, and this is going to get down. A gapper to the track of the wall. Infante going to second base. He will pull it up with a 2-out double. 3rd hit of the night for Kansas City.
And 2nd inning in a row where they've had a hit with 2 outs. Last inning it was Morales with 2 outs and had a base hit. Now Infante does a nice job on a low pitch. Drives that ball in the gap in left center field all the way out to the wall and gets in a scoring position with 2 outs. $14 doubles on the season for Infante.
Two outs. Infante in scoring position. Now CD's Escobar. Struck out in the 1st, walked in the 3rd. Fights this one off foul as it was burying in. 136 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Better lately. 3 for his last 5. Played in every game last year, all 162.
Well, that's a tough thing to do as a shortstop, actually at any position, but a shortstop to play in all the games, pretty impressive. Of course, we get spoiled by Cal Ripken.
Ranked 2nd in Major League Baseball, 529 games at short since the start of 2012. He trails only White Sox shortstop Alexei Ramirez. He's appeared more games during that time at short. to right field, and this is going to be a fair ball headed towards the corner. Royals are going to get on the board. Infante scores. Throw to second base, cut off, and it is a 2-out RBI double for Alcides Escobar, and it's now 6-1 Boston.
Escobar now with a 5-game hitting streak as he takes that fastball down the right field line. Diaz is going to chase it down. By the time he does, Escobar at second base with another double. The Kansas City Royals get on the board as Infante scores. So all is coming with 2 outs here in the 5th.
First earned run allowed on the road by Eduardo Rodriguez in his career. It's second, 2 down. Mike Moustakas, the batter. There is strike 1. Moustakas has popped out to short, flied out to center. Strike 2, right at the bottom of the zone.
That's still around 94, 95 for Rodriguez with that fastball.
Two quick outs in Perez and Rios on ground outs, but back-to-back doubles here in a run for Kansas City. On the ground at second base, Holtz got it. And that will end the 5th inning, but the Royals get on the board with a run. It's 6-1 Boston. Six to 1, Red Sox have the lead over the Kansas City Royals. Top of the 6th inning. And Pablo Sandoval leading it off. Already 2 for 2 in this game as he slaps it foul off to the left. Here working into the 6th inning. Sandoval 2 for 2 against him. Pablo with a double in the second, single in the third. Red Sox have 10 hits. Sandoval will lift it in the air to shallow left. Alex Gordon coming in for the first out of the 6th inning. One down. Check out Johan Pino's pitching line. Brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. 5 1/3, 10 hits, 6 runs, all earned. He's walked the batters, not struck anybody out. 75 pitches, and on the hook right now. Not pitching into the 6th inning. Like Napoli. And a 2-run single in the 2nd inning. Now he lines one to left, and that's going to get in and by Gordon quickly. To the track of the wall. Napoli headed for second base. Throw goes in that direction, but standing at second with a 1-out double. And his second hit of the game is Mike Napoli.
A good sign here tonight from Napoli as he's able to get a couple of knocks in this game. The first one drove in 2 runs. This time he goes hard by Alex Gordon in left field. Looks like that's going to be the night for Pino. Right down the middle. Gordon going sideways against that baseball, gets by him, and Napoli ends up with 2.
That is a night for Pino. The pitching change from Kansas City. Red Sox have a 6-1 lead. $50 to the Sean Thornton Foundation. Echo Store is proud to assist in helping find a cure for Parkinson's disease and pediatric cancer. Learn more. Log on to echostore.com. Echo Store Technologies, your data center solutions provider. That is the night for Johan Pino, responsible for the runner at second with 1 out. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Kia. Brandon Finnegan in the game here for the Royals. 7th appearance, 1-0. 1.69 earned run average and 10 2/3. Opponents hitting at .097 against Finnegan. Alejandro De Aza has walked and fly to center. Again, last worked on Wednesday. 1-2-3 7th inning against Milwaukee. This is his 3rd stint this year with Kansas City. Just got recalled last week from Omaha once again. Chop to first. Hosmer backs up. Better hurry up. He's got nothing.
Pitcher didn't cover. Finnegan did not get off the mound and get over to first base, and when HOSMER picked up that ball, he had no place to go with it. He couldn't beat the odds to the first base. He looks for his pitcher, and his pitcher's standing there watching. Mental mistake right there by the pitcher, and they get no outs.
So now Napoli at third base. Diaz at first base, 1 out here in the 6th inning. And it brings up Blake SWIHART, who had 2 hits tonight off Pino.
They're going to rule out a base hit, right?
Yes. Diaz's first hit of the night, second time he's been on. Multi-hit games for Betts, Sandoval, Napoli, SWIHART. Liner foul, and it's 0-2. Leading the way in hits for the Red Sox tonight, Mookie Betts with 3. Boston out hitting Kansas City 12-4. The arsenal this season for Finnegan, mostly fastballs, 23% breaking balls, 5% changeups. On the ground to short, could be 2. The second for 1. On to first, it is 2. So Finnegan gets out of the inning without any trouble. 5.5 done. It is now 6-1 Red Sox. On the game, you'll hear from John Farrell. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Hooba, WB Mason. Renzo Kane leading it off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kane 0 for 2. Lined out to first, grounded out to third base. It'll be Kane, Hosmer, and Morales expected to bat here in the 6th inning. 2-1. Hosmer waiting on deck. Royals batting here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Grounder left side to the backhand goes Bogarts up into the air to make that throw, and he gets it there in time.
Wow.
Xander Bogaerts in that up in the air throw from short left to get him.
I mean, how about the shortstop that Xander Bogaerts is playing right now? You talk about playing with confidence. I mean, the jump throw to first base gets enough on it to get Kane, who can really run down the line. Kane thought he had himself a base hit in the hole, and Bogaerts quickly changed that. What a play by Bogaerts.
Swing and a miss for Hosmer for strike one.
He just looks so smooth and so confident out there right now.
Fouled off to the left out of play, 0-2.
Had that shot quickly of Brian Butterfield, who has worked so hard with Bogaerts over the last 2 seasons. And, you know, to see him play the way he is right now has to make him very proud of the work that he's put in with him.
Back off the glove of Rodriguez to Bogaerts. Plenty of time to still get Hosmer. 1-6-3 on the putout. It's time for a game break brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Tom? All right, thanks very much, Tom. Back here at Kauffman Stadium, where the Red Sox have a 6-1 lead. Bruce Morales batting with 2 down here in the 6th. '90th pitch coming up here for Rodriguez. Tap foul, 1-2. Derek Jeter with a home run in his 3,000th hit, as did Alex Rodriguez. Wade Boggs did the same with Tampa Bay. This one fouled off to the right out of play. Wonder about A-Rod, Jerry, looking back over the course of his career, if he had not used performing enhancing drugs, what his career would have looked like. He's already a great player.
Yeah, there was no need for it. I mean, he was such a good player.
Swing and a miss, and Morales strikes out to end the inning. A 1-2-3-6 for Rodriguez, 6-1. Rodriguez, 92 pitches through the first 6 innings of his outing. He's got a 5-run lead. Red Sox coming to bat here in the 7th. And he is dealing with a very good lineup tonight for the Kansas City Royals and doing very well. As Brock Holt will take ball 1, leading it off here in the 7th. Holt 0 for 3 on the top spot in the Red Sox order. He has popped out to first, grounded out to second, and grounded back to the mound last time up. Back out there is Brandon Finnegan. All 6 runs the Red Sox have charged to the starter, Johan Pino, who got the start tonight for Kansas City. Hitter against lefties at .324 is Brock Holt. Taking on 3-0, and he takes ball 4. Now to first base he goes. Leadoff walk to begin the 7th inning. It's time now to check out the results of tonight's Dunkin' Donuts poll question. He asked, should Major League Baseball change the All-Star Game voting process? Pretty overwhelming. Yes, 88% thought so.
I got a question for tomorrow night.
What do you got?
If they want to use it, I don't know. I mean, should the All-Star Game count the way it does right now?
Yeah.
I've already got my answer for that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a pet peeve of mine.
Yep. Mookie Betts the batter. Mookie's had a 3-hit night. Infield hit to second, single to right, single to left, and a run driven in. Now 30 on the year for Betts. On the ground and by the dive of MOUSTAKAS into left field. It's a 4-hit night for Mookie Betts.
Now what a job by Mookie Betts offensively in this game. 4 for 4, 4 singles and RBI. Moved up to that number 2 spot in the batting order tonight, with Pedroia out of the lineup and Holt leading off, and there's that top spin ground ball that gets by the dive of MOUSTAKAS at third base. Red Sox piling us from hits, 13 of them on the night.
2 on, nobody out. David Ortiz had a tough night. He's grounded into 2 double plays and grounded out to first base. Red Sox have grounded into 3 double plays in this game. Only left 3 men on base through the first 6 innings with all these base runners, 13 hits in all, along with 2 walks allowed by Royals pitching in the game. There's a strike, 1-1. 93 on the fastball from Finnegan.
No shift on David Ortiz. Lefty against lefty, and a man in scoring position at second base. They play him to pull, but not in the shift.
In the dirt, nicely blocked by Perez. Holt at second base. Mookie Betts at first base. Nobody out. Strike 2. That's a tough pitch.
Yeah, it's not a pitch you want to swing at unless you get 2 strikes on you. Nasty outside corner.
Close. Ball 3.
Just a little bit lower than pitch number 4, and that's the reason it didn't go in the Royals' direction. Very, very close.
Ortiz jolts it to center, but right at Kane, who makes the catch. Fires back in towards third base. 1 out in the inning. David 0 for 4 in the contest tonight. Let's take a look at the Toyota play of the game with Hanley Ramirez coming up. He homered back in the 5th inning. His 14th home run of the year gave the Red Sox a 6-0 advantage at the time. That home run off Johan Pino, one of the 6 runs he allowed in 5 1/3 innings, on the hook tonight for Kansas City. Two on, 1 away. Hanley Ramirez. Home run, the only hit he has tonight, as he's lined out to left, flied out to center in the first 2 at bats prior to the home run in the 5th. Runner's going. Pitch is low. No throw from Salvador Perez. Double steal for the Red Sox. Holt takes third. Betts takes second.
A surprise right there by the Red Sox on the double steal. Nobody was even over to cover third base. Nobody was paying attention to the runner at second base. Nobody was covering third base. I mean, they really had the Royals sleeping on that double steal.
Red Sox keeping the pressure on.
Yep, and they should. Infield now comes in for Kansas City. It's a gimme. Look, nobody's got anywhere near Holt at second base. Not even thinking about a steal. MOUSTAKAS never gets to third base in case there's going to be a throw. It's like the whole infield had a brain cramp.
Hanley Ramirez lines it to left and a base hit. Almost got by Gordon. He reaches up to get it back in. 1 run will score, and the Red Sox take a 7-1 lead. Hanley Ramirez driving in his 2nd run of the game.
Now this looks more like April for Hanley Ramirez right now, as swinging the bat very well. The home run, the hard line drive to left field. Gets that fastball down and in and rifles it out toward Gordon. Hit so hard only 1 run could score. Gordon makes a nice play on that ball going away from him and quickly gets it back in. That's going to hold the runner at third base, Mookie Betts.
1st and 3rd. Run in for Boston here in the 7th inning. 1 out, and here is Xander Bogaerts. Xander will take strike 1 right at the bottom of the zone. Singled back in the 2nd inning. Since then, he is fly to center and grounded out to third base. Mookie Betts at 3rd. Hanley Ramirez at 1st. Pablo Sandoval on deck. 1 out here in the 7th inning. Bogaerts takes the strike that picks up the outside corner. On the ground to third base, Moustakas coming home for one, or no, they're going to get him tagged out for one. First and second now, 2 down.
Moustakas had the option of going to second base and trying to turn a double play, but wants to cut down another run. So they get Mookie Betts, who was not even close to home plate. 2 outs in the inning, now men at first and second. I thought he had a chance to get the double play.
I did too.
Which would have, of course, ended the inning.
First and second now, 2 down. And Pablo Sandoval, the batter. Sandoval 2 hits tonight, a double to center, single to right. Last time up, flied out to the left fielder Alex Gordon. Strike 1-1. Borderline call.
It's hard when you're a guy like Pablo to question any pitch, because a lot of the pitches you do swing at are not strikes. So when you turn around to an umpire to question a strike, which he did not, the umpire looks at you like, come on, man.
Swings and fouls that back, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. It's time to vote for your Red Sox All-Stars. Vote for your favorite Sox stars on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at redsox.com today. Make sure to vote early and often. 2 down here in the 7th inning. Runners at first and second. Pablo waiting on a 1-2 pitch. Reaches out, protects the plate, fouls it off to the left. Sandoval strikes out on a pitch in the dirt. Perez got to throw him out, and does, to end the inning. The Red Sox add a run and take a 7-1 lead. Eduardo Rodriguez's pitching line is brought to you by Ace Ticket. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. He has walked a batter, struck out 5, and thrown 91 pitches. Some defensive changes here for the Red Sox. Rusney Castillo checks in right field. Alejandro Diaza has moved to left field, and Hanley Ramirez has come out of this game. You notice anything with Hanley?
No, I didn't, but this is something that John Farrell has been doing a little bit more of, and he didn't want to do it at the beginning of the season. He felt like it might ruin the confidence of Ramirez being in the outfield late in games, but he is, I think, changed his way of thinking about that in games where if you need defense out there late in the game, you better put your best defensive outfield out there, and I think that's what he's doing.
7-1 score, though, even so.
Yeah, I think so. And I think he may have had his last at bat of the game.
2 pitches outside. Two is it jammed, and he fouls it off to the left.
We look back, Don, when Hanley crashed into the wall at Fenway Park and hurt himself, and he never did really swing the bat all that well since that point. It seems to me like now it's starting to come around. There's no question he hurt his shoulder on that play, and I think it affected his swing.
Into right center field, a base hit for Alex Gordon to begin things here in the bottom of the 7th inning for Kansas City.
Well, Gordon's been on twice tonight, hit by a pitch back in the 2nd. Now the leadoff single in the 7th.
Lead runner on here for the Royals in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bring up Salvador Perez. Perez 0 for 2. Grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the 2nd. Grounded out to Brock Holt at second base in the 5th. To the screen and foul. Eduardo Rodriguez nearing 100 pitches. Next pitch will be 99. And there is action behind him. Alexia Gondo now up in the Red Sox pen. In the air to left field. Diaza, who started back, now comes in and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Sunday on NESN Clubhouse, Eduardo Rodriguez talks about his hometown in Venezuela. Learn how altitude affects the flight of a baseball and enjoy a special Father's Day edition of Small Talk. Catch NESN Clubhouse Sunday at 12:30, presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. 1 on, 1 out. Alex Rios coming up here. A strikeout and a ground out for Rios tonight. 100th pitch of the night is in the dirt for ball 1. Two and 0. Leadoff single by Gordon. Perez flies out to left. 1 on, 1 out. Throw to first, and back to the bag is Gordon. Popped up, foul ground down the right field line. Castillo running full bore. So is Brock Holt, and Holt can't catch it. Looked like Brock was going to make that catch.
And it looked like Castillo may have been able to make that catch too. I don't know if he was calling off Brock Holt, but it looked like coming in was a little bit easier than going back. a little bit deeper than Brock thought, and not able to make the catch. Now, can Castillo make this play? That's my question right there. And, that's maybe being afraid to call somebody off and taking a chance.
Another chance now for Rios as a result. There's a 2-1 pitch. It's up and away for ball 3. Omar Infante, number 9 man, waiting on deck. Line over the outstretched glove of Holt into right center field. Gordon will take second on the single by Rios. And it's first and second with 1 down now for the Royals.
Now you get another live because they can't make a play on a foul ball, and Rios picks up the base hit. Out comes John Farrell.
So the pitching change as Eduardo Rodriguez gives him 6 1/3 tonight. Red Sox have a 7-1 lead. The pitching change from Kauffman Stadium. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Eduardo Rodriguez dealing with one of the game's best lineups tonight and doing very well, leaving with a 7-1 lead in this game in the 7th inning. He is responsible for Gordon at second, Rios at first with 1 out here in the 7th. As Alexei Agondo on the hill for his 27th appearance of the year, 1-0. 3.62 earned run average. 20 strikeouts, 9 walks, and opponents hitting at .230 against Agondo.
Exceptional outing for Erod tonight as he is able to come back and bounce back from a rough outing last time out against a very good team.
Now this crowd back into it again at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals putting together 2 base runners here right now with 1 out. And Infante takes ball 1. The left-hander Robbie Ross Jr. up in the Boston pen. Last saw Gondo on Wednesday night at Atlanta, going 1/3 of an inning, pitching in the 6th inning. Two 2-0. Top of the order, Alcides Escobar. Waiting on deck with Gordon at second, Rios at first. On the corner for strike 1. 1 for 4 against Agondo in his career for Infante. And a ground ball towards second. Brock Holt with a bobble is going to get 1 out at first base. Looked like he was going to have a chance for 2. A little bobble costs him there, but he does get Infante 2 down.
Yeah, it does cost the Red Sox a double play to get out of the inning, but Holt regroups and at least gets the out at first base. You get some runs to work with, so don't try to do anything crazy after you bobble the baseball. Ball came up with him right on that second hop and has to go to first base to get the out.
Second and third, 2 down. Alcides Escobar, the batter. He struck out, walked, and doubled. 2 for 9 in his career against Agondo. And he takes strike 1 right down the middle. 96 miles an hour from Agondo. Gordon at third. Rios at second. 2 down here in the Royals' 7th inning. In the air down the right field line, making its way foul. Rodriguez responsible for the 2 men on. This point has given up just 1 run. That was back in the 5th inning. An RBI double by the man at the plate, Alcides Escobar. Hops it up this time. Pablo Sandoval into foul ground. He's got a play, and he makes it to end the inning. We head to the 8th, 7-1 Boston. To the 8th inning. Mike Napoli leading it off here in the 8th and taking a pitch up and away. More Brandon Finnegan, who has been in the game since the 6th inning, taking over for Johan Pino. Changes for Kansas City now defensively. Christian Colon taking over at shortstop. And Drew Butera now doing the catching. Salvador Perez and Alcides Escobar coming out of the game. Foul off to the right, out of play. The 2-1 pitch coming to Mike Napoli. There is strike two. Kansas City with action in the pen. Former starter Luke Hochevar up in the pen. Napoli will pop it up foul again, out of play. Mike's had a 2-hit night, 2 RBIs. Single in the second, double in the sixth, wrapped around a fly out to center field. Red Sox have banged out 7 runs, 14 hits as they bat here in the 8th. Alejandro Diaza waiting on deck. Check swing and a full count now. Ball 4 and a leadoff walk for Mike Napoli to begin things here in the 8th inning. That's the second walk given up by Finnegan since coming into this game. I want to remind you to stay tuned following WB Mason's Extra Innings Live. A Red Sox final presented by Uno's. TC Eck and Steve Lyons will wrap up the night across Major League Baseball. Lead runner on for the Red Sox here in the 8th inning. Second straight inning that Finnegan has walked the first batter that he faces in an inning. That runner scored last inning in Brock Holt. Diaza pops it up foul and out of play. Tonight's attendance 38,190. 38,190. They've already reached 1 million in attendance, faster than any season in franchise history here in Kansas City. About all the great teams they had, late 70s, early to mid 80s.
Been a long drought after that, Don, and baseball kind of went away here in Kansas City, attendance-wise. But boy, they're back in a big way.
They didn't get to 1 million until July 11th of last year. A lot of blue out there, a lot of royal blue out there. One-two pitch coming to Diaza. He's off 2-2. He's been on twice, a walk and an infield hit. Has scored a run tonight. He bats with Napoli at first, nobody out. And a ground ball softly at left side. Colon, a bobble, he'll get nobody.
Now he's looking to turn a double play before he has the ball in his glove, and when you got to think ahead. You really don't have a chance to get a double play with Diaza going down the line, and you can see him look towards second base about the exact same time he's trying to feel the baseball, and that just doesn't work.
First and second, nobody out. Blake SWIHART, the batter. Down and into him for ball 1. 2 hits tonight for SWIHART, a double in the second inning, a single in the fourth. Driven in 2 runs in the game before grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in the 6th inning. strike in. It's 1-1. Johan Pino started this game tonight for Kansas City. He is on the hook. 5 1/3, 11 hits, 6 runs, walked a batter, didn't strike anybody out. Finnegan has allowed a run since coming in. Now SWIHART takes ball 2. Ball 3, 3-1. On the ground towards short. Colon's got another chance here. To second for 1 on to first, dug out by Hosmer. So they do turn the double play. Their 4th of the game, and taking third base is Napoli.
A little bit of concentration that time by Colon at shortstop as he goes down to a knee. Watches the ball into his glove, then feeds his second baseman, and Hosmer comes up with the pick at first base. 2 quick outs for the Royals here in the 8th inning after the walk-in era to start the inning.
Napoli at third, 2 down, and Brock Holt coming up. Does not have a hit in tonight's game, although he has reached. He walked his last time up. Stole a base and scored a run. Sunday at 6, don't miss the Ultimate Red Sox Show presented by AAA. Look back at Brock Holt's cycle against the Braves and hear from Red Sox GM Ben Cherington. That's Sunday at 6 right here on NESN. 1-1. Holt fouls it off over by the Royals dugout. 1-2. Napoli at third base, 2 down in the Boston 8th inning, already on top 7-1. Strike 3 call. Holt is frozen, and the Red Sox leave Napoli at third base. We head to the bottom of the 8th, 7-1 Boston. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. 7-1. Red Sox have lead over the Kansas City Royals. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Robbie Ross Jr. into the game. His 18th appearance without a record. 4.66 earned run average. Takes over for Alexia Gondo, who went 2/3 an inning and retired both Royals that he faced in the game. Eduardo Rodriguez started the game 6 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run. He walked about or struck out 5. Chance for his 3rd win. Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer here for the Royals in the bottom of the 8th. Two and two. Just did get that inside corner. Fights that one off foul as it was running in. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Xfinity. That's 4 for 4 in this game. Hanley Ramirez 2 for 4 with his 14th home run. On the hook right now, Pino 5 1/3 innings, 6 earned runs. Escobar 1 for 3 in the game. Eduardo Rodriguez a chance for his 3rd win in the big leagues. 2-2 fouled off. Protecting the plate was Moustakas. 2, 3, and 4 featured for Kansas City here in the 8th. Moustakas, Cain, Hosmer. Lefty Robbie Ross out there right now for Boston. And a ground ball right side. They get a bit of a shift on. Holt had to go to his right and gets it there in time to retire Moustakas for the first out of the 8th. H.B. Hood salutes the Red Sox Foundation for its commitment to 4,900 accredited charities throughout New England. 1 out in the 8th, and Lorenzo Cain coming up. 0 for 3 in the game. Lined out to first, grounded out to third, grounded out to short. So plenty of putouts in this game out there in center field. This one grounded back to Ross. 2 down in the 8th.
I like the approach the Red Sox pitchers have taken against this lineup tonight, and it started with the Rodriguez, where they know they're a very aggressive hitting team. They have stayed away, I think, a lot from fastballs in early counts, first pitch counts. Going to some change-ups, going to some breaking balls.
High fly ball hit to center field by Hosmer. Back goes Betts at the wall. That ball is gone. Home run for Hosmer, his 8th home run of the year. And it's now 7-2, Red Sox on top.
Well, just as we say that, first pitch to Hosmer, a fastball from Robbie Ross, and he goes straight away, center field for the home run. And these guys just don't take pitches. It doesn't matter what the score is. It's now 7-2, and nobody's taking a strike. They're just up there swinging the bat.
Kendrys Morales. Fly to center, single to right, struck out. .424 feet, the tail of the tape on that home run. Not close, 3-0. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. Foul back and a full count. Red Sox have action in their pen. Stephen Wright, the right-hander, up. Am I imagining things, or the Kansas City Royals bullpen used to be over there? Well, the Red Sox pen is now.
I think you're right, Don. I know it was in the before they remodeled this place.
Fouled off the plate towards third. Sandoval charging in. Bare hands, no play. Base hit for Morales. His second hit of the game.
I really dislike the old bullpens they had here because they were kind of in tunnels. We watched the play here by Sandoval barehanded, but no play at first base. They were kind of in tunnels down there, and you could hear the pitchers warming up, and the ball would really pop. You know, it had that echo sound, and you'd be playing out in the field. You hear a guy warming up, and you hear that pop. It's they changed it, obviously, the whole outfield when they remodeled this place.
Runner at first base, 2 down. Alex Gordon with a swing and a miss. Fastball right down the middle. Tonight on NESN Sports Today, Jameson and Nicky will have details on the Patriots signing first-round pick Malcolm Brown, and hear from Bruins GM Don Sweeney tonight after our Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Two and one. Ball 3. Oscar 2 quick outs to begin the inning. Gave up the home run to Hosmer. Then the infield hit to Morales. A 3-1 pitch coming up here to Gordon. And a foul ball, full count. Tuesday, in an all-new Red Sox report, 40 years after one of the greatest World Series ever played, members of the 1975 Red Sox relive their memories from that magical run. Don't miss the Red Sox report Tuesday. It's at 5. 3-2. And a foul back to the screen.
Job of spoiling that pitch right there by Gordon. That ball was at the top of the strike zone and able to foul it back. High fastball that time from Ross, but it is a good pitch.
Ball 4, and he walks Gordon.
Not even close to being a strike here. Not even tempting for Gordon to swing at.
Amica Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. Carl Willis, the pitching coach, out there to talk to Ross here. Got 2 outs, then the home run, the infield hit, and a walk.
Go back to the second inning for the Red Sox. Napoli getting a base hit to drive in 2 runs. And Sandoval scores. SWIHART with a double also to drive in 2 runs in that inning. Napoli scoring. The odds are after him. Mookie Betts going to the opposite field with 2 strikes on him. SWIHART scores. So a big inning. 5 runs for the Red Sox in the second.
Drew Butera batting for the first time, and with Ross falling behind 1-0, back out there again is SWIHART. They've just been out there to talk, and they're talking again. Drew Butera took over defensively last inning for Kansas City for Salvador Perez. This should be Perez's spot in the order. They've been 0 for 3 tonight. And some defensive changes last inning made by Ned Yost. There's a strike, 1-1. Just a 167 average for Butera. No homers and a run batted in. Foul back. And just below us. Will get away. Runners will move up. Morales to third, Gordon to second. Wild pitch charge to Ross. SWIHART out there again.
Tommy Ross certainly having his problems in a game where the Red Sox have a comfortable lead. As he throws that one right past SWIHART. Two men move into scoring position.
Not close, full count. Swing and a miss. Gets away from SWIHART. His throw to first will be in time. The strikeout ends the inning. We head for the ninth. It is 7-2 now, Red Sox. Presented by Joseph Abood, available at Men's Warehouse. Adam Pellerin and Steve Lyons a preview. Rick Porcello start against the Royals. 7-2. Red Sox have the lead over the Kansas City Royals. And the Royals about to employ their third pitcher of the night, Luke Hochevar, into his 12th game of the year. 0-0 with a 7.20 earned run average. 11 strikeouts, 2 walks. Opponents hitting at .349 against Hochevar. Some tough numbers. Mookie Betts leading it off and taking strike one. 7 games for Mookie Betts. He has hit at .577, 15 for 26. Fly ball out to left center field. Alex Gordon over. And he makes the catch for the first out of the 9th inning. Be sure to follow NESN on Instagram to see all sorts of cool pictures this Red Sox season. Our followers continue to grow every day. Let's see if we can get 50,000 before the end of the summer. Follow NESN on Instagram today.
Wonder where we are right now. I mean, numbers-wise. Do we have a update on that?
I don't know. Down for David Ortiz. Well, the Red Sox have 14 hits in the game. David's still looking for his first hit of the night.
Going to try to get our best people on that, see if we can get a number.
Fouled off to the left out of play, 1-1.
25,600 accounting. So, see, they started the bar too low at 25,000. We said 50,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should have no problem getting that at all.
Ortiz fouling it back to the screen, down 1-2. Rusney Castillo is not yet batted in this game. Batting in Hanley Ramirez's spot. Came on defensively in right field. Ortiz lines one, a fair ball down the right field line to the corner. David with a single as Rios gets it back in quickly. Big Papi joins the hit parade.
Yeah, he's been going down that way all night towards Hosmer, and Hosmer's been able to turn a couple into double plays. Well, this time he gets it by him with a line shot. Hosmer very close to the line, too. Ball a rocket by David Ortiz. Ortiz probably telling him, go play somewhere else, man. You're killing me down here. A couple of double plays. Ground out.
Now Rusney sends it back where it came from and into center field for a base hit. Ortiz takes second, and it's back-to-back hits here for the Red Sox off Hoshaver. Now tomorrow at 6:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. Karen will have an interview with Mookie Betts. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Two on, one away, and Xander Bogaerts coming up. Xander with a single in the second, flied out to center in the third, grounded out to third in the fifth, and then reached on a fielder's choice in the seventh. There is strike one from Hoshaver. Hoshaver coming off Tommy John surgery. Made 12 appearances on the year. On the ground back to him, trying to turn two here to second for one, on to first for two. Nice play there by Hosmer. Some fancy footwork at the bag at first. Double play, their fifth of the night. you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Your local Subaru dealers. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. And by the Kia Sorrento. 7-2 the score. Red Sox have the lead as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Red Sox bringing on their 4th pitcher of the game. Stephen Wright checks in. His 10th appearance, 3-2. A 3.89 earned run average. 24 strikeouts to 13 walks. Opponents hitting at 239 against Wright. Take a closer look at tomorrow's starting pitchers. Rick Porcello up against Edison Volquez. Last time out, Porcello gave up 4 earned runs and 6 hits. Closer look brought to you by FW Web Selection, Expertise Solutions. More at FWWeb.com. Stephen Wright in for the 9th, and Alex Rios leading it off here for Kansas City. Check swing grounder down to first base. Napoli picks it up. He'll take it to the bag himself for the first out of the inning. Rios wasn't sure where that went, so he didn't run initially, but easy put out there for Napoli. 1 down. Omar Infante. 1-for-3 in the game.
Fastball that time by Stephen Wright to start out Infante. And then back to the knuckler.
2-0. Robbie Ross Jr. win an inning.
86 on that last fastball to get the outside corner.
Robbie Ross Jr. win an inning, giving up 2 hits, 1 run. Walked a batter, struck out a batter. Pitcher of record right now for the Red Sox, Eduardo Rodriguez, trying to pick up his 3rd major league win. Fly ball center field. Mookie Betts over to right center. 2 down. Two down, and coming up here for the first time, Christian Colon in the game. Took over at shortstop for Alcides Escobar. 261, no homers, 4 runs batted in. Two and 0. Seven runs, 16 hits, no errors for Boston. 2 runs, 8 hits, and an error for Kansas City with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th inning. There's a strike, 3-1. Mike Moustakas waiting on deck. There are 2 outs in the inning. Strike 2. Battling back, full count.
Battling back with fastballs and not knuckleballs. 5-run lead, get strikes.
To left center field. Betts on the run's not going to get there. It's going to get down, and by Betts to the track and the wall. Colon heading for 2 and has himself a 2-out double here in the 9th inning.
Now Stephen Wright fell behind that time and then basically had to come with fastballs after that, and finally Colon with 2 strikes gets one that he can handle. 88 miles an hour on that fastball from Stephen Wright, but left it inside, and Colon finds that gap in left center field.
So runner at second, 2 away. Mike Moustakas 0 for 4 in the game tonight. That knuckleball taken off. Swing and a miss. Two balls and a strike now to Moustakas. Start of the day, 4th in the American League in batting average at .323. 0 for 4 in this game. In the air to right center field, and Betts on the run, will dive and won't get it. It's back to the track in the wall. Colon will score. Moustakas into second base with a double, and it's now 7-3 Red Sox. Back-to-back doubles for the Royals.
Now the Red Sox bullpen has had some struggles since coming into this game tonight. Having a tough time, a difficult time, finishes this thing off. Nice effort by Mookie Betts in center field, but very little chance of making a play on that. Gets by him, and the 2-base hit by Moustakas.
Now Carl Willis coming out here for the Red Sox. Renzo Cain will be next.
It's going to happen now, as it looks like Uehara is going to have to get up and start to throw in the Red Sox bullpen.
And he's not alone either. He's been joined by Craig Breslow.
Something the Red Sox figured they would not have to do tonight is warm loosen up Uehara.
Run in here for Kansas City with 2 down in the 9th inning. Lorenzo Cain, the batter, 0 for 4 in the game tonight. That double by Moustakas. Royals now have 10 hits in the game. This one will get away from SWIHART briefly. No advance at second base for Moustakas. It'll get away to the backstop, and to third base goes Moustakas. Wild pitch charge to Stephen Wright.
This knuckleball acting as a curveball, and not even close. Gets away from SWIHART up a base. Goes Moustakas. Royals continue to battle here in the 9th inning.
Three and 0. Hosmer on deck. There's a strike. 3-1. Cain chops it to third. Sandoval's got it. And it's just in time to get him to end the ball game. The Red Sox take game 1 of this 3-game series. Royals make some noise in the 9th as they pick up a run, but Red Sox win it 7-3. The victory for Eduardo Rodriguez, who betters his record at 3-1. Pino takes the loss 0-2. And the Red Sox winning tonight 7-3. It's now 2 in a row. Victory last night in Atlanta, victory here tonight in Kansas City. And Tom, a good start to this series.